Hey everyone, I'm Brianna Beverly, and you're watching IGMOB News, partnered with Adams Boxing. And I am here with actor Noel G. How are you doing today?
What's up? How you doing? I'm good. What's going on?
Going
Talk to me.
great.
Talk to me.
So the background scenery, I don't know if you noticed, we did it for you.
Oh, this works. This works. I know you put me in that Fast and Furious vibe. It's all good.
That was the goal. That was the goal from
I
the
was
beginning.
like, yeah, I just want the keys to that one, that one, that. No, I'm playing. I'm Mexican. I can start the cars without the keys. Don't worry about it. I'm playing.
I'm dead. You're also Italian, by the way.
Mexican Italian.
Mexican
Yeah.
Italian.
I'm Baskin Robbins. I'm 31 flavors.
How was it growing up? Did you grow up with a certain, with your mom's side or your dad's side more? Where were you at in your childhood?
No, it's kind of crazy actually because I grew up with my mom and my dad up to the age of 13 years old.
Okay.
But never in my life did I meet my mom's side of the family or my dad's side of the family. They were the only two to come to California to start a living. So I literally have no brothers, sisters, nieces, nephew, cousins, aunts, uncle, grandma, grandpa, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have no family. So, up to 13, I lived in a middle class home. Like I had food on my table, clothes in my closet, everything was straight. And so, yeah, it was cool.
How did you get into acting?
Um, I met this girl, I was dating this girl, and, I was homeless at the time. And one day she asked me, she said, "How come you always wear the same clothes and I never seen where you live?" And so I broke down, I started crying. I was 15 years old.
Right.
So I just told her my story straight up. And she was like, "You know what? Come meet my dad and talk to him." So I started living with this family who I didn't know. And she had the dream to be an actress, model, and the whole Hollywood deal. I never thought a day about it in my life. But being homeless, I was so happy to have a roof over my head that I thought that if I ever get her mad, that I would get kicked out of the house. So I just did whatever it is she said. So one day, my point is to get to the point, is one day she asked me to go to an acting class with her. And I just said, yeah, because I didn't want to get kicked out the home. So right place, right time, never thought about acting a day in my life. I go to this acting class with her, and I just happened to be at the right spot at the right time. Like I said, there was a producer who was sitting in class that day, was scouting talent, and he thought I was funny because I was talking mess in the class, because if I'm just being real,
Yeah.
I was in my street mode at that time. So I thought everybody in the class was dorks and nerds. So I was just talking smack, being a class clown. And right place, right time, there was a producer who was sitting in class that day, and he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, you want to be in a Taco Bell commercial?" And I was like, and I thought he was on some BS. I was like, "Oh, come
Taco
on."
Bell?
Right? I was like, "Oh, because I'm Mexican, right?" And but it ended up being real. I ended up giving him my number. It ended up being real. 2 weeks later, I'm on a Taco Bell set doing a Taco Bell commercial. It was the first thing I ever did in my life. And you know what residual checks are?
Yes.
So for those who don't know what residual checks are, it's whenever they show the commercial, you get a check. So I only worked in the commercial one day of my life. So like if they show the commercial 15 times in one day, that's 15 checks. You feel me?
Wow.
So it was like winning the baby lottery. You understand? And all these checks started coming in, and I thought it was a computer mess up, but I was cashing them because I was just cashing. I want to be a good citizen, right? And so next thing I know, I call up the producer guy and I said, "Hey, why I keep on getting these checks?" And he's like, "Oh, no, no, that's how actors get paid." I said, "What?" I said, "Well, I want to be an actor." And that's how I became an actor, And so it was crazy. To end the story, he had a friend who was a manager, and he goes, "Hey, man, you know what? I like you. Let me see what I could do for you. Meet this manager friend of mine." I said, "All right, cool." So I go meet this manager guy.
Yeah.
I come in looking like this. I don't know nothing from nothing. I'm just, he goes, "Man, I like you. I'm going to start sending you out on stuff." I said, "All right, cool." And then everything he sent me out on was Gangster 1, Cholo 2, Trigger. I'm like, well, I thought I was here to act, man. I grew up like this in real life. And so that's how the acting got started. And that's how I, quote unquote, became an actor. And yeah.
And then you also, quote unquote, became Hector.
Yeah, so in Hollywood, because I call it Hollywood, they only know two names for Mexicans, Hector or Carlos. Because every time I got an audition or an offer for a movie or a television show, I kid you not, I can't even make this stuff up. 85 to 90% of the time, a script would come in and it was always the name Hector or Carlos.
Yeah.
And it got so bad, even my manager would call me up and be like, "You're not going to believe this." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Another script for Hector." I'm like, "Oh my God." So the way I say it, the short story, I say it started off as a coincidence, but I just made it a thing. Because it happened so much, I said, you know what? I'm just going to ride this out. But I kind of like it now because I'm the only actor to do that. So that's kind of like my little gold token or
Yeah.
private stamp, if you will, or
Right.
Guinness Book of World Record thing or whatever. Like I'm the only actor to be in so many different stuff, TV shows and movies with the same character name.
Crazy.
Not the same character, but the same character name. So that's my little,
Yeah.
gold token. And no actor has broke that record yet. So
You also worked on, for example, Fast and Furious,
yeah.
Philly
I
Brown.
feel like I'm working on Fast and Furious right now.
I was about to say that, right?
We're doing the behind the scenes or something. No, I'm just playing.
Tell me, actually, yeah, we want to know a little bit about the behind the scenes. How was Fast and Furious? How did you get that role? Going into that character, really working with actors like Paul Walker and Vin Diesel and all these people. How was it?
Yeah, it was cool. It was like getting paid to party. I caught a couple child support cases on set. No, I'm just playing. But
Wait.
maybe I'm not playing. I don't know. But no, long story short, that's how we came up with the word family because it really felt like a family shooting a movie. Like it was like getting paid to party. It was crazy. There was a time I was on set, like, are we shooting a movie here? Because we were hanging out on set, we're chilling, we're vibing, everyone's getting along.
Yeah.
And so it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I mean, to be able to be in a franchise like that and have it be, just something that happens to you in your life is just crazy, right? It's insane. Like, sometimes you would think like me, like really, like me, it's happening to me, like really, like I sometimes I still can't get over it, even though I don't like where the franchises went now. It became more of a superhero movie and it got kind of lame now. But when I did it, at least it stuck to the roots of the street or whatever. And so it was good at that time. But
Right.
at the time we did the movie, it was an independent movie. And then for it to blow up and become what it's became, I'm still sitting here like, wow, to this day, you know what I mean?
Right.
But now, it got, like I said, it went a little left field. So anyways, but yeah, I like that movie. It was hecka cool. It's kind of what, started the roller coaster ride, if you will, to keep it run at 100 with you. And, ever since Fast and the Furious, my phone has rang a lot more than what it did before. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, think about it. Like Fast and Furious, you literally did the first one. So it's kind of like you guys started that franchise and started that legacy that now became something it is. Like you said, now it's changed, but you were in Fast and Furious 7 as well. So do you feel from that time on, it was like completely now gone after that?
I think like part 4, it kind of started losing its, I don't know how it became, FBI and CIA and save the world. And
Yeah.
I think part 11 is cars underwater. Part 12 is cars meet dinosaurs. Part 13, no, I'm just playing, but it just got too wacky.
Seems like it's going to get to
I know. I'm like, I make a joke. Like sometimes I do a movie where the movie sucks, but the check didn't suck. So, but Fast and Furious. No, I do love Fast and Furious, but I love it in its earlier days, not its later days.
You don't get residuals still?
Yeah, of course. But as a movie gets older, the checks get smaller.
Oh,
You know what I'm
interesting. I didn't
saying?
know that.
Yeah. So yeah, because everyone's renting it and buying it when it first comes out.
Yeah.
So they're fat at that time. But after every Tom, Dick, and Harry has seen it, it gets a little less. So yeah, as stuff
Yeah.
gets older, the checks get smaller.
Yeah. What was going into that Fast and Furious action stuff? What was the point that you believe that the directors wanted to go to? What did they expect that movie to come, like the outcome to be for that specific movie? You said it was an independent film in the beginning, so were they really expecting it to blow up the way it did?
No, there was no expectancy. You make a film and you hope for the best. And so that's what they did. They made the film. They were hoping for the best. And at the time, we didn't know, what it was going to do because sometimes you can make a movie and you could think you have the best idea in the world, but everybody else in the world might think it was the worst idea in the world. So you don't know what your movie's going to do until you make it / do it / put it out there.
Right.
So long story short, when we made the film, we were just hoping that we made a good film that everybody would like. And, thank God it worked out that way,
Yeah.
that everybody loved it. And not everybody, but, a lot of people loved it.
Right.
And, it did what it did. So yeah.
Absolutely. Do you feel going into all these roles that you say you would play Hector and it kind of goes into your childhood? Do you feel like when you're playing those characters, your childhood self comes out?
Yeah, a lot because like I said, when I was going out for a lot of the roles, it was always like quote unquote bad guy Mexican or gangster dude
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm like, I grew up like this in real life. I was homeless at the age of 13. I got into the street life. I started doing a lot of, bad stuff, hanging with the wrong crowd, so on and so on. And so then again, when I was playing the roles on TV, I'm like, damn, I'm just getting paid to be me. Like this, so a lot of like, Here's how I tell people. If I'm playing a doctor, now I'm acting. If I'm playing a educated businessman, now I'm
You're an
acting.
actor.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, so it's kind of like that. But a lot of real life is brought into the characters that I do. So yeah.
That's great. I'm a firm believer in God. I love God, and I think that He puts people in positions, like you said, you were homeless at 13. Do you truly believe it was your faith to kind of become what you are now to get you kind of out of that hood life, right?
Um, that comes down to like the decisions that we make ourselves as a person. And when you involve God in your life by your own choice, allowing Him to be in your life,
Yeah.
God will start to make another plan for you than the one that you thought you had without God involved. And so, I believe that what I did when I was younger to what it has become now, accepting and inviting God into my life now, that, God renews your way of thinking,
Mhm.
He renews your heart,
Yeah.
He renews the way that you speak. You transform, you turn from an old you to a new you.
Mhm.
If you quote unquote say that you're serving God, but you're still the same as you were when you were not serving God, then there's a red flag there, I would
Yeah.
say, because when you're genuinely serving God, there's a transformation that takes place in your life, in your heart, your mind, etc. All the things I just said earlier. So I believe that now, and one thing I've learned, and then I'm gonna circle back to
Yeah.
what you said and wrap it up, put a bow on it. But believing in God and being a doer of God are two different things. I could, believe I'm a lowrider, but it don't make me a garage. So
Yeah.
even the devil himself believes in God. So believing in God doesn't get you into heaven. It's being a doer of God
Absolutely.
also as well on top of the belief
Yeah.
that gets you into heaven. So yes, I believe and slash am doing my best to be the best doer that I can
Yeah.
also as well.
Mhm.
So when you're a doer of God slash believer of God, that's what takes you on the course, the path that you're meant to be on with God, as opposed to the path you were going on without God. Make sense?
Right.
Did that
Yeah.
catch you?
That did catch me.
Yeah. So I'm just letting you know. Yeah. So
Yeah. No. For sure. Oh my god, yeah. That was good.
no, I'm just telling you. I'm
That
just
was
telling you. Yeah, because
good.
you could believe in God all day long, but you know what I mean. Believing don't get you into heaven. If you're not a doer of God, you
Yeah.
might have a rough meeting with God when you meet Him.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. There's, like you said, a lot of people right now who might be saying they believe and they're not doing what God wants them to do. So it kind of changes that aspect of like you're lukewarm. You're not
Yeah,
faithful,
exactly. Well, yeah. So you know the word. That's what's up. So yeah, I mean, it's cool to believe,
Yeah.
but now if you truly do believe, I would encourage
Mhm.
someone to accept
Right.
God as your Lord and Savior.
Absolutely. Going back to when you were 13, and if this is something you're not really comfortable with saying, that's fine. How did you become kind of on your own at 13? Was there a reasoning behind it, or you kind of just
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So my dad worked at a multi-million dollar company, and he was best friends with the owner of that company.
Mhm.
It was called S&S Construction Homes. They used to build condos on the beach,
Oh, nice.
houses on the beach.
Yeah.
They made all the millionaire homes, and my dad was one of the main supervisors there. And his best friend was the owner of that company. And to cut out all the fat and get to the bone, one day the guy who owned the company, because my dad's hobby on the side was he was a scuba diver, he was a fisherman, and this guy owned a yacht. And he told my dad one day, he said, "Hey, you want to go sailing around the world with me on this boat? But if you come with me, you can't bring your kid with you." So my dad literally came home and just said, "I'm leaving on this boat and I'm going." And I call it the 2 weeks of hell
Mm.
because my mom, she was a house cleaning lady at the time, and my dad was the breadwinner.
Yeah.
And so my mom, fought tooth and nail to like, what are you doing? What type of man did I marry? Who have you become? What are
Right.
you thinking? What's wrong with you? I saw my mom fight tooth and nail trying to keep that guy home. But the truth of it is, If my mom would have stayed with me, it would have been 2 homeless people instead of 1. So I told my mom, I said, hey, I got a place to live. I'm gonna go live with my friend. And I said, go with my dad. And my mom didn't want to go,
Yeah.
but I kind of like, pushed her to go with my dad because again, it would have been 2 instead of 1. And so my mom and my dad, they put everything in storage, they sold the house and they left. And my dad gave me $500 at the age of 13 years old. And at 13 years old, I went from a middle class home, food on the table, clothes in my closet, to literally nothing on my back, no family to call,
Yeah.
no home to live in, homeless in the streets with $500 in my pocket. And that's where my journey began.
That's crazy.
And then I started hanging out with the homies. I started learning how to rent cars without asking people. I got involved in the street pharmacy business. We were part-time movers. What we would do is we'd move things from like other people's houses to like where we were at. And yeah, so we did a lot of that.
Wow. And so your life completely changed to the 360.
It changed like 100% just like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
What would you have done if you wouldn't have become an actor? What would have been your next like level of career? What you would have done with your life?
Well, like straight up, living the street life, I never had a plan. My plan was just eat and survive.
Yeah.
And where am I gonna sleep? I slept in laundromats, donut stores. I did the couch tour. I went from friend's house to friend's house to friend's house. But let's be honest, when you're not paying the bills at someone's house, your welcome is gonna run out eventually.
Yeah.
So I did all that. And then it was when I met the girl, I finally got a home, acting kicked off, and then it turned into a whole nother thing. But before acting, I worked everywhere. I worked at Kmart, Walmart, Denny's, KB Toy Store, Toys R Us, Burger King, place called Pizza Mania, the Olive Garden. I did it all, before acting kicked off. And then when acting kicked off, I was able to make a living off of that. And, then my life started changing.
Yeah. What happened to that girl?
She's the mom of my first baby.
Okay.
Yeah. But we're like,
Yeah.
like we're at like, yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, now we keep it cool,
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but back then it was a nightmare show. Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, I mean, she kind of helped your career kind of bloom out of nowhere.
She took me to the
But-
right place at the right time. Yeah. I was
But
like,
yeah.
thank you for that. So the least I could do is give her her daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
See,
saying?
there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Compromising.
So I made
love that.
some kind of donation.
Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear. So, if you can tell anybody, all your fans, your younger fans who, or maybe, loved your role as Fast and Furious or, Philly Brown or any of that, what's something you would tell those people?
Well, only because you brought it up and we talked about it earlier in this podcast,
Mhm.
my mission now that I'm really on, I never push my belief upon anyone else, just so we're clear. But because it was asked and the door was open, my mission now is I tell people to follow Jesus Christ, accept him as your Lord and Savior, put God in your life. A lot of people, and I'll say this last thing, and unless you have any other questions, I'll go as long as whatever, but a lot of people want to be blessed in their life, but they live out of order. And God cannot bless disorder. So when you're living wildly and out of order, but you want all the blessings to come, God's like, I can't bless that because it's out of order.
Right.
And God cannot bless disorder. He can only bless what's in order. So the more that you fix your life a piece at a time and start putting yourself back into order, the blessings, they're going to come chasing you. You don't got to go chasing them. And that's my advice to people in this world, that right now, a lot of people in this world, they're chasing the blessings of the world instead of the blesser first.
Yeah.
You chase the blesser first, and the blessings of the world will chase you. You don't got to go chase them.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, God first, and the rest will work itself out.
Absolutely. 1000%. That's agreeable.
So that's my advice. Just put Jesus Christ into your heart, follow him for real, be genuine about it. He'll know you can fool the people, but you can't fool him.
Absolutely.
And if you're really genuine about it, you'll see what rewards come with that.
Absolutely. For someone who is in that journey, right, trying to find Jesus, maybe they're in a position to where they had everything and they just lost their job, they lost their cars, they lost their house. What's the step you would make what's an opinion or a step that you think they should take to kind of get that, to be able to find God, to seek God, what's the route you would have them take? They lost everything. They had everything. They lost everything. Now they're stuck between, like you said, the worldly things of, oh, I'm just going to make money. I'm going to figure out how I can do it myself. God doesn't like when you figure things out on yourself. He likes when you depend on Him, right? So use your faith to make sure that you get where you want to be, like the blessings will come eventually. What's something that you would tell somebody in that position to, like, they had everything, they lost it. They want to find God, but they don't know how to start.
Well, two things. When you know God, and I just say this respectfully,
Yeah.
just we all learn, right? And I'm still learning.
Yeah.
Even when I die, I won't know it all. I'll never know it all. But we don't find God. God finds us because He's not lost.
Yeah.
So He finds us, number one. Number two, respectfully, is like there's the story of Job. Job was living, and he was the richest man back then, in the days that Jesus was walking the earth. He served God so wholeheartedly that Jesus that the devil went up to Jesus and asked permission. He asked permission. He said, the reason why Job is serving you is because he has everything.
Right.
He had to ask God for permission to mess with Job. And so he went up to Jesus and said, he is serving you because he has everything, and that's what makes it easy for him to serve you. So I bet he goes, I make a deal with you, God. I bet you if I took everything away from him, that he would not serve you. He would turn his back on you and he would say, God is fake, God is not real, and watch it. Wow. So God said, go ahead. You could do anything you want to him. The only thing you can't mess with is his wife. So the devil took everything from the richest man. And even his wife said to him at the time, are you a fool? You're praising God and you're worshiping God when you were the richest man in the world. Now everything's gone. Your kids are dead. The animals are sick. Like the devil messed with him hard, took all his money. And he said, no, are you not the fool to know that everything that God has given and has been taken, he can give back? So it's not about what you have and how much money's in the bank account, etc.
Yeah.
It's about your heart. And if your heart is right with God, whether you have or it was taken or not or what, you're going to get it all back as long as you were real and genuine about them. Yeah. Make sense?
Yes.
So that's what I tell people. You got to know, and that's why when you truly, really, really know God and his word, you're going to know that everything that you have means absolutely nothing. Yeah. It's your heart. And if it was taken away and you're genuine about God, don't worry about it. He'll give it all back and 10 times more. It just might be a test. It might be, a wrong step that you took and God wants to get you back on track. Or maybe that had to happen so you could look up because you were never looking up because you thought you had it all. Yeah. Makes sense?
That's a great way to put it, because I feel like the younger generation now, they believe that, oh, if I get all these cars, if I get all these houses, like I made it in life. But did you really? Like you made it in this worldly life, but you only go 6 feet under with nothing but yourself. So it's just like, that's a good way of putting it to people that are not understanding how to, like you said, he finds you, you don't find him. And when you're getting to a point where you're depending on the worldly things is when he comes. And like you said, the devil takes whatever you have, and that's where you need to depend your faith really strong in that part, for sure.
And put your faith into action towards whatever your goals are.
Yes.
And I always say it like this, and this is just a simple way to say it. You're going to be better off with God on your side than without God on your side.
Especially right now, with all this world things that's happening in the world, you need him more than ever.
Everything that's happening now
has to happen
is in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I tell people, like, if that's not evidence enough that God is real, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. And there's still people who genuinely don't want to turn their lives around because they believe there's time, when there's really, he can come at any time. He can come in right now. You just never know.
And that's why the Bible says you have to be ready in season and out of season, which means exactly what it is you said. Yeah. You could be in a supermarket and the guy decides that day to go shoot it all up. And the bottom line is, God's the most gangster guy in the world. He said it straight out. If you reject me, I'll reject you from the kingdom of heaven.
Yeah.
So God made it very clear. He said, you don't want to accept me? It's okay. Then I don't want to accept you into heaven. And he doesn't force it upon you, because if he forced it, it wouldn't be real, right?
Yeah.
So that's why he gives you free will to make that choice for yourself or not make that choice for yourself. And that's the love of God that is so ununderstanding, that God loves you so much that if you want the bad life, go have it. But as a father, a loving father, I'm just going to tell you, you know, maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Maybe you should slow down here, slow down there, stop that. Because as a father, as a loving father who wants the best for you, I'm telling you what's best for you, so you don't take your life in a direction that it shouldn't be going.
Absolutely. I love to end at this point, because talking about God and kind of the situation, I think that's very important for fans, especially who look up to you, who maybe possibly don't know your journey, or you know, you're saying that you're starting to get involved more with it and you want people to know more about it and kind of just give them that guidance. I think that's the best way to put it. So to end it off, what's one thing you want to say to people watching right now?
Well, I'll do this to you real quick, and then I'll end it like this, and I'll make this my last thing. So let me just ask you a question real quick. Now you're on my
I
podcast
don't
for
like
2 seconds, all right?
Make it ready.
Now you're on my
No,
podcast
you're
for
good.
just 2 seconds. So let me just ask you a question.
Yeah.
If someone knocked on your door and you're home with whoever you're home with, right?
Right.
And he said, let me in your house. I just want to eat and shower, and can I come in? Are you going to let him in?
I think I would.
You would let him in?
Yeah.
But
I
it,
know, but it like people say if he's like that's something that my mom has always told me. There's people outside that you see maybe holding signs. You never know if that's truly like basically God almost seeing if you're gonna help serve, and if you do or you don't. So I think genuinely, I know people are gonna say, oh, well, if he looks completely homeless, or like you said, maybe like a jacked up person that looks like he's gonna rob your house. I feel like there is that level of, for me, I feel like I'm very intuitive in the terms of like my heart. God can tell me if this is a good thing or not. I'm very good at sensing, oh, this is going to have a good outcome or not. So, I mean, if that person comes to me and I truly feel and I see that they're truly hurting and need help, I would do it. I know God says love thy neighbor and, you know, that, but it's just in the world that we live in, it's so scary to let anybody in. But I don't know, I think in that position, it's kind of a hard question, but not really. Like, I know the answer, but I don't know. I don't know.
so when someone says, I don't know, it means that they just don't want to think about the answer. So if you had to give a solid answer, yes or no, and you could have him look
I
however
would
you
do it.
want. He could be clean cut.
Yeah.
He could be a homeless looking
Yeah.
guy. He could be an average looking dude. You could make him look however you want.
I would do it.
Okay, so would it be fair to say, though, that if you let him in your home, would it be fair to say, clean cut looking or homeless looking or however looking you put him, would it be fair to say that you put yourself in a compromising position because you let a stranger into your house, so you don't really know what could or couldn't happen, correct?
Yeah.
Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, for sure.
So the Bible also says to use wisdom. That's also what the Bible says. So you got to understand respectfully. I understand what you're saying. You want to be the nice person. You want to let them in
Yeah.
and do what you believe is right. But right might not be the correct thing to do, because you could now put yourself in a jeopardizing position because you just let a stranger into your house, right? So as someone who would know better, I would advise you that would not be the smartest thing to let him in,
Yeah.
because you don't
But
know
how
him.
about if it's a test from God to see if you're willing to help somebody in need?
Right.
That position is kind of like,
But again, he says to use wisdom.
yeah.
So it would be better to know who you're helping and why,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
As opposed to just helping a stranger.
Yeah.
It's like,
Like for me, sorry to cut
no,
you off,
go ahead,
but
go ahead.
for me, I know we have a couple.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead,
okay.
go ahead, go ahead.
For me, I'm the type of person that if I'm going on the street, I know now, like, this is just me being honest. ICE is a big thing right now, right? When I see someone selling oranges or flowers or whatever, I ask for their Zelle and I send them money and I don't get anything. And I don't go and get my phone out and record, here, hi, like, here you go, here, you know, I know we're in tough times. I don't like to do that. But I also feel like that has helped me in a way of not receiving, but I'm a true believer and a firm believer that if you help, truly help from your heart, God again will bless you like you said, tenfold, which he does. So for me, it's not about letting people know that I'm helping. It's more of just me doing it on my out of the kindness of my heart, right? So I'll sell them maybe 20 bucks, 15 bucks, but I will never take anything from them. But that's something that I myself want to do, right? Like no matter what they're going through, but like you said, I know and I see that they're working hard knowing that ICE is going around. I know the purpose of why I'm doing. I'm not just giving a random person money, right? They're doing something for the blessing. I'm a true believer that also if you bless somebody, let's just say that was they needed $20 for their rent. Like that was the last $20 they needed and you gave them that through God, you know? That's how I see it. But that's
No,
just me
no,
going into depth with that.
no,
I
it's
don't
awesome.
know.
It's awesome. I get it. And I know we can go so down
Yeah.
the rabbit hole, so I'll just say this really quick because I know we got to wrap up time. Um, if you were letting someone borrow $20 for rent, that would probably be someone you know. Or you would just have to, and if it's someone you don't know, you would just have to believe and hope that it's real.
Yeah.
That they're really using that 20 for rent, not to go get a line of Coke.
Right.
Right?
No, yeah.
But that's my point.
Mhm.
Even the person selling oranges, you don't know their personal life.
Yeah.
They could be selling oranges that look humble and sweet, but in real life, they could be a drug addict and that's just their job.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah.
So, but that's what I'm saying. And unless you know someone personally, you really don't know who you're helping and why. And God says that good deeds are like filthy rags in front of them. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't
Yeah.
mean don't do good deeds.
Yeah.
Because you did it with a righteous heart and you did it for the right reasons. Now you can only hope that it was utilized by
Right.
the other
Yes.
person, the receiver, for the right reasons.
Right.
So I just wanted to close on this. But again, God says to use wisdom. And I understand what you're saying respectfully. Of course, you would let someone into your home because, yeah, it's the right thing to do. I help someone. But again, it would be fair to say that you put yourself in a compromising, possibly jeopardizing situation.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden the dude could close the door,
And
he
then-
can act like a cripple, and then all of a sudden throw the stick away and, whatever.
Yeah,
You don't know.
yeah.
Right? But my point was this, though, to say this, right? I would advise you not to let a stranger into your home under any circumstances, period. Because once again, you don't know who you're letting inside, regardless of what the situation feels or seems like or looks like.
Right.
But my whole point with that was to say, you wouldn't let him in because you don't know him.
Mhm.
So when we stand before God and you say, let us into heaven, which is his home,
Mhm.
he's gonna say no because I don't know you, because you didn't take the time to get to know him.
Right.
So the way that I end with, this is the 4 steps, and they're real simple on how it's the best way to get into that personal relationship with God. This is what I say, and I'll end with this. I say at first, don't even trust God right now. I tell you straight up, don't even trust him right now. Forget trusting him. Just get to know him. As you get to know him, you'll start to trust him. And then what do you do when you genuinely start trusting someone? You start having love for that person.
Right.
And then what do you do when you start having love for that person? You fall in love
You
with that
commit to
person.
that person, yeah.
And when you really fall in love with someone, you don't want to hurt who you love.
Right.
And that's how God keeps you straight and keeps you out of the sin life. Because now you know anything you do, even behind closed doors, you can't do or get away with, behind his back.
Absolutely.
So that's how I tell people, just those 4 steps.
Yeah.
But again, people could take that advice or throw it in the trash. As an older man, this is what I've learned in my life. I'm just here to share it. And again, it could be heard, received, not received. It's your personal choice to do or not do, to make it happen or not happen. It's always up to you. But my end advice, and I'll end with this, is I encourage, inspire everybody to follow Jesus Christ. And as you get to know him and his word, like I said, you'll start to trust him, then love him. And then once you fall in love with God, you'll see how your life will take a dramatic change and transform on a whole nother level than what you never thought it could be, because a God idea is better than a you idea.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And that's how I end.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for the kind words that you're giving me specifically, because I feel like it kind of hit me a little bit too, just kind of realizing and opening my eyes a little bit more to, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of things that, people don't realize that God does. And it's just like, yeah.
It's just the more you get to know God, the more and more you'll
Start to trust and believe,
understand.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and the only reason why I chose God, to be straight up, is because the more I got to know him, he just makes sense. people complicate it. He just makes sense.
Yeah.
The more you get to know him, he just makes sense. And that's why I'm doing my best to serve him the best I can.
So do you do fasting and then like journaling and stuff like that?
I don't do journaling, but I do fasting.
Okay.
I do stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Do you know what fasting is
Yes.
for? Okay,
Yes.
cool.
So you have a purpose, you devote yourself. I did it, I think 3 days. And I just went
It's
just
to
with
clean your
water and
system
cleanse your body
so
and
you
mind.
can
So yeah.
hear directly from God when you take that intimate time with God,
Mhm.
praying with him to hear from him directly more clearly, because everything else is out of your system for one person to be in your system only.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Sometimes we get distracted by social media, our phone, our friends' advice, this person's
Mhm.
advice, except the only advice that matters the most, which is God's advice.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Noel, for coming on to our show and kind of giving us that wisdom and telling us a little bit about who you are, you know, the career you've had and your childhood and everything like that. You're always welcome back.
All love, all love. Thank you guys for having me. If you guys want to keep up with me on my Instagram, actor Noel G. Continue to support this show. And when you do it fast and furious style. You heard? Let's go. Your boy Hector. Much love, and love all you guys. I even love the ones who are hard to love. What's cracking? It's your boy Noel G, and I'm right here with IGMOB News. Check them out and do it fast and furious style. You heard? Let's go.